So we're going to look at doing transformations using the Jojo app in Chrome. So the first thing that I'm going to do if I'm going to do my transformations is I'm going to need a shape. So I'm just going to select the polygon tool from the top and I'm just going to draw myself out a quick little triangle. So the first transformation that we're going to look at doing is to do a translation. So to perform translation we're going to need a vector. Our vector tells us the distance that we're moving our shape and the direction that we're moving it in. So our vector tool can be selected from the third tab in with all the straight line tools. So we select the vector tool and we're just going to click at the start point and at end point of the vector that we require. If we wanted to make that vector to be a more exact size, then we can look at editing our points that form our vector so that we get a set distance. So for example, if I wanted to look at moving it by exactly the vector 5, 2, then all I need to do is look at my points and make sure that the x coordinates have a difference of 5 and that the y coordinates have a difference of 2. So to do that, I'm just going to double click on point E, and if I want to be plus 5 in the x direction, and I just want to make that read 22.62, and if I want to be plus 2 in the y direction, then I just want that to read 8.93. And then as you can see down here, my vector has now become the exact vector 5, 2. So then to move that shape, what I need to do is go to my transformations toolbar bit, which is the fourth from end. So click on this drop down menu and choose translate by vector. So then we just click on the shape and on our vector. I get my translation done for me. So the next one we're going to do is reflecting in a line. So I'm going to choose to reflect in the x-axis. If we wanted to reflect in a different line other than one of the axes, we'd need to make sure that we drew that line first. But to do my reflection in a line, I'll go back to my transformations button, select reflect about a line, click on the shape that I would like to reflect, and then just click on the line that I'd like to reflect in. And then obviously that reflection I could reflect in the y-axis if I wanted, and we can keep moving it around if we so wish. The third one that we're going to look at is rotating about a point. So first of all I'm going to need to draw my point. So I'm just going to stick a point down here on 2 on the x-axis. So go back to our button for our transformations and we want to choose rotating about a point. So we first of all want to choose the shape we're going to rotate and the point we're rotating about. We can then choose our angle that we want to rotate about and whether we want to go counterclockwise or clockwise. So let's do a counterclockwise one, and we'll use an odd angle. Not often we'll look at using odd angles, but the computer can do any angle we want. So 113 degrees will do for us. And we can see how our shape moves. Finally then, the one transformation we've not yet looked at is enlargements. So for that we're going to need a point. So if I draw a new point in, and I want to have my enlargement centered about, go back to my transformations tool, and I want the one that says dilate from a point. So then I want to choose the shape, and I want to choose the point that I'm enlarging about, and then I want to type in my scale factor. So if I want it 4 times size, I type in 4. If I want it 5 times, 5, so on. We'll go with 3 times size. Click on OK, and there's my enlarged shape. Good thing about GeoGebra with our transformations is what I can also do is look at how things move. So I can move my point and I can see where my enlargement ends up. Similarly with my rotation, I can move where that is and we can see how the rotation changes. Same with my translations, I can move one of the endpoints of my vector and it will change whereabouts the translation ends up. Equally, I can look at changing my shape by dragging one of the corners, and you can see how they all change. Equally, I can move the whole shape, and then everything will change position relatively.